This next one, you're gonna need some type of either band or a stretching strap or even a long towel, okay? So make sure you have it. If you don't have it, hit pause, go grab it, then come back and hit play. So you're gonna lay on your back. We'll start with the left side. So whatever you're having, whatever you're using, you're gonna hook it around the left arch. You're gonna hold on with your right hand. All right, my left hand's down, I'm holding on with my right hand. All right, so your back wants to be pretty flat in the ground. If it's arching, bend that leg that's on the ground. That might help flatten out that lower back. But eventually you want both legs nice and straight. Now both legs go internal rotation. So your toes, your knees turn inward. Now I want you to have that left leg go across your body and then pull it towards that right shoulder. So I'm using my right hand to pull that left leg back. Now if your butt came up, that's okay for now. You're keeping your left leg where it is, but now I want your left butt to come down onto that ground. So your left leg is going across the body, left butt is pulling down to the left. You should start to maybe feel, maybe from your calf, your hamstring, hopefully into the glutes. All right, this is a glute stretch, but if you're tight in the leg, you're probably gonna feel it there. All right, so again, left leg is going to the right and towards the right shoulder. Left butt's down on the ground. And then try to rotate right knee in to try to lift your right butt up slightly off the ground. Doing that can really get you deeper stretch into that left butt. You're breathing, you're working into it, constantly trying to pull on that left leg. So I'm constantly pulling that band back towards my right shoulder, constantly pulling left butt down, trying to lift your right butt up a little bit, breathing into it. I'm gonna go 2 more deep breaths. I'm shaking a little bit, hopefully you are. Last deep breath. And as you exhale, gently ease the tension. Then you can move. All right, make sure you ease the tension before trying to move. It'll protect you. All right, let's go right leg. So right foot, whatever you're using, the thing's hooked around the right arch of your foot, holding out the left hand. So right arm's down on the ground. All right, again, if the lower back is arching, try to press it down. If you can't press it down, just bend that bottom leg, okay? Both legs turn it in, so internal rotation. Right leg goes across the body to the left and then towards that left shoulder. So I'm pulling on that band. If the right butt came up a little bit, that's okay. Make sure you're not fully tilted. You don't want to be here. You want to be laying pretty flat. Keep your right leg where it is and try to get your right butt to pull down onto the ground without moving that right leg. Once that right butt is down, you're going to rotate left leg in and try to lift the left butt up slightly while constantly pulling on that band. So I'm constantly pulling the band to this left shoulder as I'm constantly pushing the right butt down and to the right. And I'm trying to lift my left butt up just a little bit. All right, there's a lot going on, but once you get it, again, it's going to get into the butt, maybe the hamstring and the calf. If you feel it behind your knee only, bend your knee slightly. All right, because you don't want to just feel it behind that knee. You want to feel the muscles getting stretched. Again, turn the legs in. Right butt's down. Left butt's trying to lift a little bit. Constantly pulling on the band. Maybe 2 more deep breaths here. And 1 more deep breath. And as you exhale, gently ease the tension before you move out of it. This next one is a great one to open up and mobilize that lower back. But you could also kind of feel the hips, maybe even the legs. All right, it's kind of a global stretch. Wherever you're tight, that's where you're going to start to feel it. All right, so we're going to start laying on our right side. So this is going to be for the left side stretching and strengthening. All right, so you're on your right side. Right leg is bent straight out in front. So you got a 90-degree angle at the hip and at the knee. Left leg is straight, kind of slightly in front of the spine. And keep your left leg down on the ground. Don't try to hold it up, just keep it down. Flex the feet so your toes are pulling back towards your knees. We're gonna lay face down, so your head and shoulders go face down. If you got shoulder issues, keep your elbows bent. If you don't, arms are gonna be straight. All right, so you turn down. I don't have shoulder issues, so I'm gonna keep my arms straight. Forehead down on the mat. So we're working that left side. So you want to feel that left armpit rotating down into the floor. And again, keeping that left leg down,
toes are flexed, you want to try to flatten that left foot onto the floor. So you want the bottom of that left foot to try to get onto that ground. And when that happens, you should feel that left hip trying to push towards that left foot. And as that left hip is pushing towards the left foot, the left armpit and ribs are pulling away from that hip, creating all that tension throughout that left side. So I'm starting to feel it kind of in the hip, the obliques, lower back, and kind of into that left leg. So you're breathing, you're working. Tuck the tail slightly to flatten out that lower back. So I'm starting to feel my right shoulder a little bit, so I'm just going to bend that right elbow to help release that tension. I'm just going to focus on that right side, on that left side, just lengthening, creating distance between the rib cage and the hip. Give me 2 more deep breaths here. 1 more deep breath. And as you exhale, gently ease out of it. And we'll switch sides. All right, so I'm just gonna have my head go to where my feet were, my feet go to where my head was. Because now I'm laying on my left side. And this is gonna be the right side opening up. All right, so bottom leg, or my left leg, is gonna be bent straight out in front. So 90-degree angle at the hip and at the knee. Right leg is straight on the ground, a little bit in front of the spine. You don't want it to be behind you, it's slightly in front. Again, if you got shoulder issues, keep elbows bent. If not, try to go arms straight. Let's go face down. Forehead on the mat. All right, now it's flexing the feet. Keep the right leg down. Keep the right leg straight. Think of the right armpit trying to go down onto the ground. And it's the right armpit and rib cage pulling away from the right hip, as the right hip is trying to push towards the right foot. And your right foot is trying to flatten on the ground. So the bottom of your right foot, try to get it onto the ground. And what that does is it lengthens the outside part of that right leg to help pull the right hip down toward your foot. Again, you're focusing on that right side. So think of right rib going towards the right hand, right hip towards that right foot. Still flexing those feet, still breathing into it. So I feel this kind of oblique, lower back, and into that right hip. Keep pushing that right leg and hip away from that right rib cage. Give me 2 more deep breaths here. 1 more deep breath. And as you exhale, gently ease the tension, and you can move out of it.
Here's an exercise for the internal intercostals. So it's some deep muscles in between the rib cage that we're going to open up. So we're going to start with the left knee down. Right leg and foot is out to the side. So make sure you're not going to slip. So I'm actually going to bring my foot onto the harder floor so I don't slip. So you want your knee and your heel in a nice straight line here. You got a nice straight line also on this left side. So we're going to be working the left internal intercostals, okay? So you want to take your right hand, reach it towards that right leg, the back of your left hand to the back of that right ear, or to the right ear. So back of left hand to the right ear. You want to just start to lift your spine, so grow tall. Make sure that lower back is flat, so you get a nice little posterior tilt of the pelvis. And you're lifting. You're pushing right arm and right leg to the right. And as you lift your spine, you're going to bend a little bit to the right. All right, so it's not a huge bend, but it's a lift to a bend, just a little bit. So you want to start to feel some tension out here through that left side. All right, so you're lifting, you're breathing. Now, to get into the proper movement, right hand comes forward in front of that right knee. I'm going to kind of press up against that knee. Your head turns down towards that right hand. And then the goal is to lift this front left side. So you want to lift that left chest up and back as you're pushing that right hand into that right knee. So you're creating distance throughout this left rib cage and left hip. Head's turning right, right arm and right leg are lifting. The left chest and shoulder are lifting up and back, creating that tension. Keep working into it. Breathe deep. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. The more you can breathe into that left side, the deeper you'll feel it. Let's go 2 more deep breaths. 1 more deep breath. Keep creating that tension. Then as you exhale, slowly ease the tension. Then we're gonna switch sides. So now the right knee down, left foot, left leg out to the left. The goal is to try to have your foot flat with the toes pointing straight ahead. If the hips cramp, just kind of let that foot relax a little bit. The knee and the heel in alignment. The left hand reaches towards that left foot. Back of right hand to that left ear. So this is going to be the right side getting worked, getting stretched, getting strengthened. All right, you're not just stretching, you're also strengthening stuff here. So flatten the lower back out, kind of tuck that tailbone or suck that belly button in as well. Start to lift the spine up. Push left arm and left leg to the left. Lift to bend to the left. So you lift the right side to bend. Now take that left hand in front of the left knee. Turn the head down to the left. And now that right chest and right shoulder are lifting up and rotating back slightly. So it's like that chest is opening, the front side of your body is just kind of opening up, creating some nice length in between the right rib cage and the right hip. So you should be feeling that kind of through this front side of that right rib cage. Now inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Keep reaching left arm and left leg further. I'm pushing my left hand into my left knee gently. I'm lifting that right chest up and back. Again, when you inhale, it's in through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. The head is turned down to the left. Let's go 2 more deep breaths. Lift that spine higher. 1 more deep breath. Then as you exhale, slowly ease out of it. And then you're good. Move on. This next move is for the external intercostals, which are kind of the ones toward the back of the rib cage, in between the ribs, okay? So some deep internal muscles used for inhalation, exhalation, okay? So start with the left knee down, right foot flat out to the side. You want your knee and the heel in alignment. You want to try to keep that foot flat with the toes pointing straight ahead. If the hip cramps, just let that foot relax a little bit. Maintain a nice straight line throughout this left side to begin with. Reach right hand towards that right foot. So arm and leg are on the right side are straight. Back of left hand to the right ear. All right, we're starting to lift. So flatten out the lower back, so tuck that tailbone slightly. Lift the left side to bend a little bit to the right. So it's not a huge bend, it's not a huge lean, it's a lift the spine to bend a little bit. All right, now this one. The right hand goes behind that right knee. You turn your head towards that left elbow. Now, you want to slightly start to round your spine as that left shoulder rotates forward slightly. So I'm pushing right hand into the back of the right knee gently. I'm rounding my spine and I'm rotating that left shoulder forward just a little bit. The goal is to feel the back left rib cage getting that tension created. Now, inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth as you lift higher. Tuck the tailbone around that spine. Think of left shoulder pushing forward. Also think of that right hip pushing forward. That creates more distance and length from left shoulder to back of that right hip. So that's the goal. So right hip kind of rotating forward, left shoulder lifting and rotating forward. We're lifting that left side. We're bending a little bit to the right. Right arm and leg are reaching longer. Give me 2 more deep breaths on this side. Hopefully you feel something on that back left rib cage, maybe the lower back. 1 more deep breath. Then as you exhale, gently and slowly ease out of it. Now we're going to switch sides. So right knee is down, left foot out to the left, knee, heel in alignment, nice straight line. Left foot trying to stay flat and toes pointing straight ahead. If you cramp a little bit, just bend or allow that foot to relax, okay? So left hand reaching to the left foot. Back of right hand to that left ear. Flatten that lower back, so you do a posterior tilt, right? So you pull that belly button back into your spine. Start to lift that right side to bend a little bit to the left. You're breathing. Now bring left hand behind that left knee. You're kind of pushing into that leg. Turn the head to the right elbow. And now think left hip rotating forward a little bit. And then round your spine as that right shoulder lifts and rotates forward. So left hip, right shoulder, twisting or rotating forward. You're still lengthening that right side. The goal is to feel the back right rib cage around your lats, around the ribs getting opened and worked. Now breathe in through the nose.
Then exhale through the mouth. Lift the right side, rotate right shoulder forward, rotate left hip forward gently. You're breathing, you're lengthening the spine and rounding at the same time. We're working into these for a good 30, 45 seconds. Breathe deep in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let's go 2 more deep breaths. Get taller through that right side as it rotates forward more. 1 more deep breath. Then as you exhale, gently, slowly ease out of that. Again, hopefully you felt something around that right rib cage towards the backside. Move on. Here's a strengthening exercise for your external oblique above your belly button. So it's a muscle that kind of runs this way across that rib cage, and it's above the oblique. So you're gonna grab a seat. Feet are trying to stay down, so you don't let the feet come up. All right, if you can't go flat-footed, at least the heels are down. So I'm gonna show you working my right side. So you take your left hand, cross it over to the right shoulder. Right arm is straight ahead with the palm up, okay? The goal is to roll back as far as you can without your feet coming up. So if you can go back and you can touch your shoulder blades, great. If not, do what you can. But as you come up, you're rotating to the left to get that right oblique to work. So you go back, and as you come up, rotate to the left. The goal is to feel this upper oblique working. All right, I'll show you with my left one. So left arm is straight ahead, right hand crosses the left shoulder. You roll back, and as you're coming up, rotate. So it's all one movement as you come up. Don't try to break it down. Think of that rib cage going towards that opposite knee as you come up. Perform your repetitions, and then you can move on. This strengthening exercise is for the internal oblique above the belly button. So it's a little deeper core muscle that sits up here around that rib cage. So you start by laying on your back. All right, feet stay flat, or at least the heels stay down. So whatever side you're working, that arm is straight. It's almost like you're gonna be reaching towards that foot or past that leg. So I'll show you with my right side. So right arm is straight, left hand crosses the right shoulder. As you're rolling up, so it's not a big movement coming up, but you perform a side bend. So to work the right side, you're gonna side bend to the right. So as you come up, you reach past that right leg to do the side bend and go back down. Come up, side bend, reaching through that arm and shoulder. It's almost like that rib cage is trying to touch that leg. All right, I'll show you on the other side. So left arm is straight, so working the left side. Right hand crosses to that left shoulder. As I come up, I'm side bending that left rib cage towards that left leg. So I'm reaching that left arm. Reach through that left arm. All right, do your repetition, then you can move on.
Barbell lat pulls. Gonna get your back working, a little bit of shoulders, maybe even the core. So you can start with the stick, okay? Eventually you want to add some weight to it. 2 options with the legs. This is the easier option, knees bent, feet on the floor. A little harder is gonna be here. This gets a lot harder once you have weight or a weighted bar. What you're gonna do, grab the stick right about shoulder width, maybe a little wider. And you wanna lengthen the stick. So what you wanna do, or think about lengthening the bar. So you wanna pull your hands apart, allowing the arms to feel like they're lengthening sideways, feeling like the shoulders are pulling away from the body. Don't jam the shoulders in, let them lengthen. Keep that length, slowly bring the stick or the barbell back, keeping those ribs down. So a lot of us are gonna lift the ribs up here, keep those ribs down, keep that core engaged. Go as far back as you can, as long as there's no pain, as long as that lower back is neutral. Keep lengthening the stick as you pull back up. Then you repeat. So again, the goal is to feel neutral in the spine. Don't let the spine move. You're gonna get all these muscles active, as well as the upper back, and you bring it back up. So start light, and then work your way up to heavier and heavier, but focus on form before going too heavy. Have fun. All right, time to do a breathing exercise with a kettlebell. All right, don't be afraid to go a little heavier than you think you can, because you should be able to pretty much support your own body weight on your stomach as you're doing this. So, lay on your back, grab the kettlebell, Put it right around the belly button. Maybe not on it, or somewhere where it's kind of comfortable. So the focus here is breathing. So when you inhale, it's like blowing air into a balloon. When you inhale, your whole torso should expand, all directions. So it means up, sideways, downwards, diagonal, all different directions. So when you inhale, the kettlebell on your belly should actually go up. And when you exhale, it should come back down. Very different than what we're probably used to. So take the kettlebell, hold on to it, take a deep breath in. Really try to breathe from belly or basically your diaphragm is what we're going to strengthen. So deep breath in. Allow that kettlebell to be pushed up when you inhale, and then exhale. Allow that air to go out. Allow the kettlebell to sink. Inhale, lift. And exhale, slowly bring it back down. So again, don't go too heavy at first. You've got to retrain these muscles. You don't want to strain them. So again, inhale, lift. And then exhale, slowly bring that kettlebell down. Now, you may not see the kettlebell moving because it's not a huge movement, but over time, it'll get bigger and bigger. You'll get stronger. You'll be protecting your core as well as your lower back. So kettlebell or dumbbell, hold on to it. Inhale, lift it. Exhale, pull it back down as you release all the air. All right, do a few repetitions of that. Again, don't go too heavy at first. You got to retrain the muscles on what they're supposed to be doing. As you get stronger, try to go a little heavier.